Travis, welcome to Tough Teams. Thanks for being here. You are currently the newest member of the creative team, um, and you are a video editor and motion designer. So, my first question for you is before you joined the team, you spent quite a while as a Lone Ranger freelancer. What inspired you to make the switch, not only to an agency, but to a growth marketing agency?
Well, I've always found that marketing clients are my favorite clients, even when I was freelancing, just because I love when you get to make a video that also has like a purpose to it and a very tangible purpose. Like you want the viewer to feel this way and have this actionable response at the end of it. So that's what really makes marketing like a very fun type of project to work on. And what I really love about like working for an agency versus being a freelancer is just like the team aspect and actually having people on your side. Freelancing was very fun, fantastic, got to work on a bunch of different types of projects, but at the end of the day, it was always like I felt very on my own. And having a support system and even people who can help critique my work and try to make the work better, that is just like an intangible thing and a really important reason on why I wanted to be part of an agency instead of freelancer.
That makes a ton of sense. Well, it's no secret on the Tough Team that your talents are far and wide. I was scrolling through your Instagram before we jumped on, and I was noticing that a handful of your personal or for fun projects make some type of commentary or seem to have some sort of deeper feeling or emotion attached. Specifically, this one, that the more I watch it, the more I'm like, oh no. How does inspo strike you? And what were you trying to communicate with a piece like this?
So that's one of my favorite things about art is like how people attribute their own meaning and find it. I always start, especially on a personal project, I start from a place where I kind of want to do something more technical and I just want to try like expanding like work in this style or mimic this type of animation. And with this one, I was actually using dynamics within Cinema 4D and just playing around with like, it's almost like a video game. Like you make the gravity this much, you make like the friction this much, you make like the bounce this much, and then you just click play and see what happens and you tweak things. And I thought it'd be really fun to just work with like chutes and conveyor belts. And the idea was actually to have them all land in the hole, but the physics didn't work out. And when I clicked play, I just thought this was too funny. like what, like, and it's just like heartbreaking. You expect one thing and then you realize it's not happening. And then some of them get so close to going in. And I think the perfect part of this is one actually does make it in.
Yeah.
And you're rooting for it. So you get a little bit of that, but you're also like, you're not left completely out to dry. But then I watch it a bunch and then I just come up with what I think the meaning is, which in this case was not everything's a lesson. Sometimes you just fail. It's actually a quote from The Office. It's not super deep. But that's how I think that a good art piece is. When I read a good book, I feel like I don't know if the author wanted me to think that, but it brought up those thoughts in me. And that's what I think is really cool. Like a piece of art is more of a blank canvas for your mind than it is showing you something beautiful.
I love that perspective. That feels really resonant too. Sometimes you make something as a creative and the way that somebody interprets it is unexpected and gives it so much more depth than you even thought you were giving it as the artist.
That's when you just quietly go, yes, that's exactly what I meant.
Exactly. That's great. Okay. The more I learn about you, the more I have discovered that you've lived in a lot of different places. Was that deliberate? Was it circumstantial? And how does your perspective change every time you move somewhere new?
Um, when I was young, I always like wanted to move around and live in different places. And I wanted to experience cities, but I also love nature and like being outdoors and camping. And so I always tried to, I was actually really lucky because I grew up in Wisconsin. and the winters are so cold here that it made it really easy to leave right after right after college. So I do love trying out different things. I lived in Denver for 4 years, and then New York for 2 years, and a few other spots in between. And I really love getting to know a new city. I actually, as hard as it is, I love saying goodbye to friends and family, because it's like, it makes you appreciate them more. Like when you're around something all the time, it becomes normal. But once you know that it's fleeting, that's when you really appreciate it. So like every time you're about to make a big change like that, I feel like I really appreciate every moment a lot more. That's like one of the things that I love about moving. And same thing when you get to a new spot, it's very interesting. And I'm about to move out west again towards the mountains to Salt Lake City, and I'm really excited to see what that adventure brings too.
That's exciting. I really like that perspective. It seems as though, final question, is that a number of your moves, there's been a common thread of pizza. Do you find that pizza kind of defines the way you move in a sort of funny way?
I do not. I love pizza, but I think secretly every city has a good pizza community if you look hard enough. The first move I made to Denver was actually a friend of mine was opening up a pizza place, so I was able to do marketing for his pizza place and also do a little bit of art on the side and also work at the pizza place as a way to like get a foot in the door in Denver. And then New York was just very circumstantial, but I think that the pizza we were churning out in Denver was a lot better than the pizza I had in New York, actually.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Well, that will.
People from New York just like to talk a big game.
Well, um, people, whoever's watching this from New York, come at us.
They will.
Yeah. Well, Travis, thanks so
No, but
much
I
for
love New
being
York
here.
for lots of other reasons.
Yeah.
Their pizza is just one of the many things that is fantastic about New York. The energy, the people, the diversity, it was the art scene. It was fantastic. And it was a really great place to spread my wings and like really learn how to do motion design. And like all my friends and all the artists I met out there just held art to such a high standard that it just
Mhm.
like really I feel you get 10 years of growth in 2 years when you're out there.
Hmm. I bet that's relatable to a lot of people watching this too. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Thanks for being here on Tough Teams. And yeah, thanks again.